Okay, everybody, today is Monday, February 21st, and we're going to do a little quick update on the South Dakota SAPA legislation, House Bill 1052. Um, in the earlier video I did, I guess it's back on the 15th, at that time we had the original bill that I showed, and then there's a couple amendments, and I showed those. So they weren't all put together yet. But now that it's been on the floor a couple of times, there's been a first reading and they deferred it on Thursday up to tomorrow, Tuesday. Here is the latest version. Looks like it's all put together. Yeah, so like I said before, they had the original bill, a couple amendments, so now this looks like it's the latest version. It's all combined. And I'll leave it in show notes. You can read it yourself if you want. But main thing I want to focus on here real quick is of course the penalty mechanism, right? We all know that's what makes the SAPA bill. All right, so let's just go over this real quick. All right, because at first, well, actually in the first video, I said it looked like as far as the penalty mechanism was, it was similar to Missouri one, but I wasn't sure. I had to get clarification. So now I think we got a little more clarification on this. You got to remember, man, as these bills move through the House and the Senate or whatever, a lot of things can get changed. They add this or that. So, or like I said, you had the original bill, and then they showed you two amendments. So now they put it all together. So things can change. So here's the latest version we got going in tomorrow. And actually, tomorrow is going to be, looks like a second reading of House bills and joint resolutions. You got HB 1052. So I don't know if they're going to have a vote on it. Because I know last week they had a first reading. Then on Thursday, I thought it was second reading, but I think they just straight up deferred it. And so I think our second reading is going to be tomorrow. But again, all that stuff's subject to change. I'm just giving you what the latest scoop is. All right, so let's get back to this. All right, right now, any political subdivision or law enforcement agency that employs a law enforcement officer who knowingly violates this act is liable for any injury caused to a person. All right, so not necessarily the officer himself, but the agency that employs him is liable for any injury caused to a person that has been harmed and is subject to imposition by a court of a civil penalty in the amount of $50,000 per violation. Now, at the point when I was reading that in the last bill, in fact, I mentioned it in the video, I wasn't sure if that civil penalty meant the person could sue or what, but now we're going to find out what that is. All right, let's go to the next paragraph. Any political subdivision or law enforcement agency that knowingly, oh, I'm reading the same thing. Let's go to this. The court shall forward any civil penalty. So that civil penalty we're talking about in the amount of 50,000. Now we're getting some clarification. The court shall forward that any civil penalty collected under this section to the state treasurer for deposit in the general fund. So it looks like instead of here in Missouri, where the individual that's been the injured party can sue the law enforcement agency that the officer was, of the violating officer, the individual can sue for that $50,000 per occurrence, and so the individual get that money. So it's looking like right now we got this latest version together, that instead of the individual being able to sue for that money, it looks like the state collects that, or the court collects the civil penalty and they forward it to the state. So it goes to the state. Now, keep in mind, though, regardless of whether the injured person gets this money or the state gets this money, it still comes out of the coffers of the violating law enforcement agency. So it's still going to have that impact. It's just a little different from the Missouri one as far as who ends up with the money. So it looks like the state ends up with it as opposed to the injured party being able to sue for it. Again, this is just the latest version. This is what we're looking at, and And I've been trying to get a hold of the guy who wrote there. This is the guy who sponsored the legislation, and I just haven't had any luck. So I was wanting to do that before I went on with this video, but I haven't been able to contact him. So we're just reading this. Wait a minute, let me get back over here. But okay, let's see. Let's read the rest of this right here. Any person may seek the issuance of a temporary or permanent injunction to restrain and prevent a violation of this act. Any prevailing party other than a political subdivision is entitled to receive reasonable attorney fees and costs. So it's looking like right now it's still a $50,000 penalty. And again, it comes out of the violating law enforcement agency that employed the law enforcement officer who violated the act. So, like I said, it's still going to have that massive impact. It's just now, instead of the Missouri version where the individual gets to sue and receive that compensation, that compensation will just be, or that it'll just be a civil penalty and it goes to the state. But it still has the impact. And again, that 50,000. So this is still a really good bill. I just kind of wish I could talk to the people that put it together and all that, and kind of see where they were coming from. Maybe to look at it like, if it's a civil penalty, it goes to the state, and the state's going to be more inclined to pursue these things and to, make sure they, if there's a violation to act, maybe they feel they're more inclined to, what would be the word, to render the punishment or whatever. That's the best word I can think of at the moment. But you get the idea. Like I said, I don't know. I wish I could talk to these guys, when they're putting the legislation together, or like what went down when they added those amendments during the judiciary hearing. But I don't have that information available, so this is what we're going to go with. And as far as, like I said, it's been on the floor twice now. I know the first time I seen something said first reading, and then on last Thursday it just said deferred. I didn't know if it was a second reading or what. But now I got the latest calendar here, and this is going to be the second reading of the House bill. So you got 1052, and that was deferred from Thursday. So this will be the third time it's on the floor, but it looks like it's just going to be a second reading. So it doesn't look like it's going to go to a vote. But again, like I say, all this stuff is subject to change. I'm just showing you what the latest version is I have here. But yeah, that pretty much is it, guys. I just wanted to give you the latest update on it, and I'll put in the show notes the latest version of the bill. I'll put this in here, and the sponsor's information if you want to email or try and call or whatever. If you have any questions or whatever, I'll put all that in the show notes. And yeah, thanks for watching. And if you like what you heard, spread the word.